All right, Vestas, how you doing? The Tony Talks Vested Up Compelling Sports Edge. How y'all doing, Vestas? How y'all doing, Vestas? This is part two. This is definitely not part two. We're going into phase two. Phase two of Karmelo Anthony appealed case. Self-defense appeal case. Day 76, y'all. Day 76, and we still here. We're going to ride this thing out. But let me go ahead and take care of the algorithm real quick, because guess what, y'all? I hope y'all got some rest yesterday. I definitely got some rest yesterday, but take your notes. Take your notes tonight now. I need you at this phase right here. Take your notes, okay? But let me go and take care of the algorithm. Audio check. You got, okay. Karmelo Anthony case, day 76. We're going to continuing with the first official court trial transcripts details. Our discussion will revisit important issues we've been researching through this case, including the trial transcripts, witness testimony, self-defense evidence, Metcalf twins, lack of testimony, medical examiner testimony, autopsy documentation, lack thereof. Hold on. Defense arguments. I heard that Russell Wilson was a master in that courtroom. For more than 71 days, we've been examining this case beyond the headlines. See, we're not the headlines over here. We're not going to give you piece of this and piece of this. And I hope y'all remember when, I think it was day 2, right? When the information came out about Karmelo Anthony, text messages, come to find out they associated with Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto. But if y'all remember this, because that's one thing I like about going live, we get to experience the raw emotions, the organicness of the conversations and engagement, right? And I pulled up the New York Post and I said, the prosecution withheld evidence, right? So, I said, hold on, we got issues. We got issues. So I'm reading down the article, right? I shared it on the screen. And I said, do y'all remember when I said, this it? Y'all remember when I said, is this it? How come mainstream media also did not tell whether the evidence the prosecution kept from Mike Howard and the defense team? You're not going to believe what the prosecution had. Let me back up. Let me say it this way. You're not going to believe what another entity turned over to the prosecution on a significant date, that we have talked about, that you have seen in the documentation. And when I heard Thelma, oh good Thelma, sister Thelma, I'm going through her videos last night, the night before, this morning, and I'm starting to get some video snippets. I said, hold on, what she say? I said, what did Thelma Anderson just say? I said, I know she didn't say that date. I said, I know she didn't say that date. To all the Vestas, I know sometimes over here when I was reading the transcripts, reading the affidavit, hey, it got dry a little bit, but hey, we saw some nuggets in there. And I'm glad we read line for line, word for word. Am I going to do some of that tonight? No, not tonight. But we will continue to go that route, because guess what? After the other side got this win right here, they still been under my comments. And if they don't know me like you know me, so they don't know when they come over here and try to agitate me, I actually get a little bit deeper. They don't know when they agitate the water over here, it actually motivates me to go deeper. Because when you're trying to convince me to stop, let this go, it's over, that means that something else can be in these transcripts that you don't want us to know. So, hey, like I said, Vestas, if I only got 1 or 2 in the room, we're going to continue to read those transcripts, because people are still coming over here trying to convince me to let this go. Some I have blocked, but some I have not. So you can go under some of these other videos, especially the ones I did. And I started noticing last week, it started getting some traction that I did weeks ago. I said, why is this video getting traction? I said, why is this video getting traction? Man, that video got so much traction. So right now, that's what the trolls are focused on. Just wait till they discover the other ones we did when we actually got into the transcript. So, hey, I'm just letting you know, Vestas, they say legal docs talk, legal doc talk. She said the Karmelo Anthony legal team has about 20 days to submit the appeal. They already start working on it. Matter of fact, Sister Thelma, I'm gonna start calling her Sister Thelma and Sister Cassandra. They already said the team has started working on it. I got some information about that too. Now, once they submit the appeal packet, right? Oh, God, it's so much stuff I want to tell. It's so much good in this. I don't even know, but I know I got to start. So let me just pick one and keep going with it. So they said, this right here basically was, you remember they kept using the words lad sweet, right? Sister Thelma. She kept using the words, and legal docs kept saying, this is a strategy. This was a strategic. This was a strategic need. This was a strategic need. At that time, we was having emotions. You know, John Roach just had got accused. And, you know, we're just having all these emotions. But now I know exactly what they're talking about. That's why sometimes we just need to take a day and step back and just let everything start marinating. Now it's making sense when they said, this is what it was needed. This was needed. It was a long shot, but it was needed. It was needed to even go forward for the appeal route. So this, let me break it down real quick. So let me paint a picture like this. So Karmelo Anthony made bail. The last, now mind you, the incident happened. He was charged. I'm gonna turn himself in. He made bail. Okay, so that's very simple. The next time Mike Howard, John Roach, the prosecution did anything else that was trackable was the first day of the trial. Karmelo Anthony was not even sitting in the courtroom when they was picking his own jury. Okay, so between, let's say, last July when he made bond up until June when he went to court, there was nothing in this whole entire span, I'm going to say, of 11 months that was on record. There was nothing. So imagine a blank space. There was nothing. So the trial happens, right? Trial happened. I'm listening to legal docs. I'm listening to Thelma. I'm listening to a few other content creators. So he's found guilty. He's convicted, sentenced, goes to prison, right? And so remember, we found out about the 75-day window. And then at the time that everybody's requesting the trial transcripts. Well, when I said, and it has been confirmed, when his legal team was drafting up the appeal process, they were actually drafting it up in the dark. They had to submit it 30 days after being found, after Karmelo Anthony was found wrongfully convicted. I'm still going to say wrongfully convicted. So within 30 days, they had to draft up 63 pages without concrete evidence, because they never put nothing on the record or the docket between last July and to June. So I'm just trying to lay this all out for you, okay? So nothing was there. Nothing was there. So after they submit the appeal packet on July the 9th, Collins County didn't release the partial transcripts, right? Remember what? I think it was at the end of July or the end of July. So even the team, y'all remember when I said, hey, I think we know more than what the legal team know more, because we've been going over the transcripts, right? Okay. So this is what I'm getting at. Even though it was a long shot, but it was yet possible, and they had everything to have this judge grant a motion for a new trial. Everything was there. I came out yesterday, and I do got to report some bad news. According to Dwayne that was on LaykeyshaLaykesha, shout out to LaykeyshaLaykesha for bringing him back on, for him to explain some things that we didn't know, us being the public, because they wouldn't allow public access to even the motion for a new trial, and also legal docs. Shout out to her also. So maybe to piece this thing together, there were, I don't want to say that particular word, but I'm going to say it was some influences. There was some influence behind the scenes. How can I say, for a brand new, well, for a judge that came from a different county and he only had a small timeline. How can I say he may have gotten agitated with some factors behind the scenes, and those particular factors lined up to what the prosecution was saying about the outside noise and this and that, and the reason why we had to do this and the reason why we had to do this because of these external factors. I'll let Dwayne explain it to you, but if you watch the LaykeyshaLaykesha video already, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But it was a few people, and I'm just going to say allegedly, right? Because I don't know, but I'll let Dwayne explain that. But Dwayne also said, which kind of puzzled me, when I got into the LaykeyshaLaykesha video around the 25-minute mark, and Dwayne, y'all know Dwayne, he was positive. He said the judge was leaning towards granting Karmelo Anthony a new trial. I said, what? He said, based off the posture of the judge and how everything was going, because they said Attorney Wilson was dissecting the state. Y'all remember? Y'all remember the energy coming out of the courtroom? He said Russell was dissecting the state. But it was other factors behind the scenes that kind of irritated the judge and actually unintentionally lined up with what the prosecution was saying regarding other factors. So hey, it is what it is. As of now, we're still waiting on findings or reasons. Somebody did contact me after the last live. They said that sometimes judges don't have to give reasonings or findings or to support their denial for a motion. So hey, it is what it is. But I got some information for you tonight. I hope I haven't been rambling, but there's so much information that came out in the last 24 to 36 hours. I just want to put it out here for you. So we're going to start with, I got video clips from Thelma Anderson. Shout out to you, sister. Woo! Shout out to your sister. Now, what she's going to talk about, and the reason I'm going to bring her up first, because I wanted the nuggets that she dropped as an ex-prosecutor. She's going to talk about one particular thing that they found out in court. And this was another thing, while this was a long shot, but still, Attorney Wilson, it was right there. It was right there. It was right there. But because of this motion to trial, you remember that empty space? I told you that it was nothing. So in other words, without the motion for trial, Mr. Wilson and his team definitely could have took Karmelo Anthony guilty conviction and the partial transcripts and went up straight up to the 5th Court of Texas of Appeal with no other proof of any other violations, right? They would have just walked up there to Dallas and say, hey, here's this young man's conviction packet. Here's the trial's transcript. We want you to appeal the wrongful conviction. Easy would have denied it, because with the grounds, remember the 4 grounds we went over that they put in the packet for to request a new trial? None of that would have been in there to support the 4 grounds. But now with the motion for trial, even though it was denied, they got everything to build and build and build and build that packet. I'm gonna play this first video. Get your notes. I think in this first video, she's going to say 2 important things. And y'all, one of these things right here it's going to line up with one of the dates in Mike Howard's affidavit. Hold on. I think this is it.
Why this is significant is because, if you recall, during the original trial, Bill Big Bird Wirskeye intentionally excluded public records. And what I mean by public records, refused to file things in order for it to be on the public record. Pre-trials, there were no pre-trials because that means that it will be filed and it will be on a public record. Anything that was meant to be filed, they did not, and they used the excuse of the doxing and all of the issues that were happening originally with the Mevcanian side, you know, the white side, the clear side, and their white supremacy. So they use that excuse to disclose what the public has a right to see. Also, with how they went about it, it was the stepping stone after Mike Howard actually filed information that made certain things public when he first was retained, because that's what lawyers are supposed to do when they are retained. And especially in a criminal case, they are supposed to file certain motions for the record. Bill Wirskeye caught wind of that, and that's what he wanted to prevent. Which means that no record, it didn't happen. That's right. The rule of thumb in the legal profession. If it's not on a record, it did not happen. So how else do you try to muddy the waters? You don't create a clear and clean record. And that was established by the legal team of Karmelo Anthony, who the lead counsel was Russell Wilson, who did a master class, a phenomenal job, no complaints whatsoever. So when you are looking at that there's no record, the appeals court, the appellate procedure requires a record and not speculation.
Right.
So when you need a record and the state intentionally prevented one from being formed, how else do you create a record? A motion for new trial creates a necessary record for the furtherance of the appellate process. So if you didn't know why it was important for the motion for new trial, that is a strategic mechanism when there is no record that was created intentionally or unintentionally. But we know here it was intentional. So that's the reason, that is one of the most important reasons why the motion for new trial was a key ingredient to creating a necessary record to further to the to the appellate court. Mm-hmm. Because without it, his team was limited because there was no record.
Right.
So what some people, like the clear people, think that this was a loss. Yes, it is a loss, because if you were there, you understood that they had more than enough reason for this to be
right. Granted.
For the motion for new trial to be granted.
Yes.
On Waller alone, a motion for new trial should have been granted.
Easy.
However, this judge decided not to. Oh, the detrimental reliance on this gentleman's agreement was more than enough, because what was established on the record is that these fools didn't even know the basis of the goddamn agreement. Y'all
just listen to what she got to say.
Listen. They didn't know what the hell to do. They were all, these old motherfuckers was all confused. So how, if these motherfuckers are confused, how you think Karmelo Anthony is supposed to know? But if you paid attention to how Russell Wilson put on his case, it was procedure for a reason. The procedure was the important key ingredient for a reason. That's why he didn't let Bill Wirskeye rattle his feelings, do it, like get under his skin, allow him to dictate how he was going to maneuver through the process of his motion for a new trial. Let me tell you something. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, chat.
Hold 1 second. I think she's handling. Is that it? Hold on.
Why this is significant is because, if you recall, during the original trial, Bill Big Bird Wirskeye intentionally excluded public records. And what I mean by public records, refused to file things in order for it to be on the public record. Pre-trials, there were no pre-trials because that means that it will be filed and it'll be on a public record. Anything that was meant to be filed, they did not, and they used the excuse of the doxing and all of the issues that were happening originally with the Mevcanian side, you know, the white side, the clear side, and their white supremacy. So they use that excuse to disclose what the public has.
Okay, so hold on. So let me clear some things. We don't care about Karmelo Anthony's text messages over here. We don't. We don't. We don't. I don't know if exactly what you misunderstood what Bunny was saying. This is not the purpose of this live. This is not the purpose of this channel. I don't care what he had in his text messages. She was just making a point. So, but no, we listen right here. We're still saying free Karmelo Anthony, free Karmelo Anthony. This is not the intention of this live, and it would never be the intention of this live. I don't care what he said. We focusing on the Metcalf twins, what Collins County did to Karmelo Anthony, and what they're still hiding in these transcripts, okay? But I need everybody to stay focused on this here, because she's about to say something. If it's not in this one, it's in the next one.
Right to see. Also, with how they went about it, it was the stepping stone after Mike Howard actually filed information that made certain things public when he first was retained, because that's what lawyers are supposed to do when they are retained. And especially in a criminal case, they are supposed to file certain motions for the record. Bill Wirskeye caught wind of that, and that's what he wanted to prevent. Which means that no record, it didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
That's the rule of thumb in the legal profession. If it's not on a record, it did not happen. So how else do you try to muddy the waters? You don't create a clear and clean record. And that was established by the legal team of Karmelo Anthony, who the lead counsel was Russell Wilson, who did a master class, a phenomenal job, no complaints whatsoever. So when you are looking at that there is no record, the appeals court, the appellate procedure requires a record and not speculation.
Yes.
So when you need a record and the state intentionally prevented one from being formed, How else do you create a record?
Oh, okay. Hold on. So that started over. Hold on. I know that started over. Okay, hold on. Let's go to this one.
So, all in all, I am disappointed in the judge's decision not to follow the law. But if you were there and you were able to see how Russell Wilson maneuvered through that hearing, it was like the effort that would take the average person. He brought a sense of calmness with his experience, with his legal knowledge, with his legal he put on a masterclass. I said what Johnny Cochran was to the courtroom as a legal sniper, Russell Wilson is to the courtroom an appellate sniper.
Yeah. Let me tell you one thing, because sometimes I got to break this up for the YouTube algorithm, right? When Russell Wilson, attorney Russell Wilson, and his whole entire team get finished with Collins County, he would be up there along with Johnny Cochran. Trust me. Listen, you hear how everything it was a little hectic, a little noisy around Saturday, right? And then yesterday it kind of died down, and the day it kind of died down too, because they know, hold on, we just gave Karmelo Anthony team the keys to the kingdom. We're going to be patient. They got everything they need. But I trust it. I got some clips. I got a plan. But listen, she's about to say some things that's just hold on.
It was such a highlight to see such brilliance on display. So it's going to be a journey, but I will tell you there's purpose in present pain that is going to be temporary, because what is clear is that his rights were violated.
Facts.
And this is a process that is going to happen to change laws. Just like the recusal judge, Sid Harley, is going to be in the legal Mount Rushmore of Texas for the Michael Morton Act when he exonerated Michael Morton. And that created 3914, which is a penal code, a statute that affords defendants even more discovery rights. It closed that gap and it bridged that gap. What Karmelo Act is going to do is
speaking into existence
the compliance and the requirements for prosecutors, and hopefully result in criminal prosecution for prosecutors like Big Bird Wirskeye when they do things like this. If y'all don't know,
is this it?
Let me add this.
Okay, so that's it. Hold on. There got to be this one then.
The judge issued an order for a holdover, an overflow room, which is allowed when you have cases that are of public interest. It was allowed for jury selection. Both sides did not object. They had nothing to object to. But on June 3rd, the judge inadvertently took the overflow room away. And in doing so, he was supposed to alert both parties. They're supposed to put their objections on the record, and the order was supposed to be filed. None of that happened. That is a violation of the Waller factors. which is what Russell argued. And on its face, with the judge denying, that's grounds for reversible error.
Hold one.
That's why they did the motion for a new trial. It's necessary to create the record. So when you look at how they operated on this public information, they ended up firing the black guy who was doing his job. They brought in this contractor named Steve Stoller, paid him $63,000 for less than a month of work, and he did nothing. They brought him in to be their handler.
And guess what? That's part of the record too. They brought somebody out of Texas and paid them $63,000. For what? For what, you say? For 4 days, they paid somebody $63,000, and it's not on the record. The intention of the service is not on the record. But guess what? They got all that information in the motion for a new trial. Come on, Sister Thelma.
Look at how they operated on this public information. They ended up firing the black guy who was doing his job. They brought in this contractor named Steve Stoller, paid him $63,000 for less than a month of work, and he did nothing. They brought him in to be their handler. They brought him in to be their handler. When it came time, because both Toby and Mike confirmed this agreement.
Yes, we did.
The detrimental reliance.
Yes, we did.
And ultimately, the breach that never happened. There was one standout also where Bill Wirskeye keep trying to say, do you trust me, Toby? Do you trust me? We've been friends since we jumped out the porch into these law streets. Toby said, I trust you, but Karmelo don't trust you. My trust for you has nothing to do with my client trusting you.
Mm-hmm. All right, so that's it. So I only got 3 more. So I must have put them in an order where the best is last. Okay, y'all just hold on. I'm still trying to find it. Everything she has been dropping is very, very good. But it's 2 things that she said. I said, I know they didn't. Hold on. Here's one.
It's the next steps have been pouring in as we speak. The next steps is the appellate proceeding. They will have to get the record from the motion for a new trial so that they can further their pursuit. Because now that they have this record, guess what? They get to build on to their causes of action. So once they have that and they go and they proceed, they will then get a scheduling order for briefs. The appellate is the first person that has to turn in their brief. Then the respondent, who will be the state, will have a timeline to turn in their brief because they get to review and get to rebuttal. And then the appeals court, it's a whole procedure. Sometimes it depends on how fast it is. And sometimes they will grant the release of a defendant if it's that egregious.
Did y'all hear that?
Not only do they have the appeal.
Come on. I wish you would have. I wish you would have expounded on that. But somebody contacted me. Actually, 2 or 3 people. How can I say it? Kind of associated, not associated. Kind of know Wilson. Don't know Wilson. But I know who they are behind the scenes. So I'm gonna get with them to see if they can expound on what the Fifth Court of Texas Appeal can do when they get his case and the defense side has submitted all their paperwork, all their briefs, all their motions, and then of course the prosecution got to do the same thing, and it could be 1 or 2 rounds of going back and forth requesting documents, right? But since she made that point, and I'm going to play it again, I need to get with somebody to have them expound upon how is this process, because y'all, it's not over. Trust me, it is not over. The only way that I would not be talking to you tonight if when Collins County, when Judge Chitty denied the motion for a new trial, and if his lawyers would have came out and said, hey, it's nothing else we can't do. This is it. This is the end of the road. We've done all that we could do. The best we can hope for is 17 and a half years. Now, if they would have came out and made those sentiments, that's when I'd be like, I would probably talk to you again, have good camaraderie with you and talk with you and laugh with you and engage and, just everybody just vent it out. But guess what? They're moving forward. They are moving forward. So as long as they moving forward, as long as they never come out and say, hey, we have done everything that we can for Karmelo Anthony. If they don't say that, I'm going to continue to push, because like I said, for some reason, all of us, we still got trolls in our comments, and then, oh, it's over. It's over. It's over. Now, some of them are totally unaware of the legal process, and some of them are definitely ignorant, but some of them know that, hey, Collins County has basically handed the keys, all of the information that Mr. Russell and his team would ever need. And they want us to still stop talking about this. And I told you, they know that I got access to transcripts, and I'm going to read every word, every sentence, because it's something in here. So I ain't stopping. Now, let me play this again. Listen what she said. She said 2 things in here.
Respondent, who would be the state, will have that, and they go and they proceed. They would then get a scheduling order for briefs. The appellate is the first person that has to turn in their brief. Then the respondent, who would be the state, will have a timeline to turn in their brief, because they get to review and get to rebuttal. And then the appeals court, it's a whole procedure. Sometimes it depends on how fast it is. And sometimes they will grant the release of a defendant if it's that egregious. So not only do they have the appeal on the original trial, they have the appeal on the judge's decision to not grant the motion for a new trial under abuse of discretion.
Now,
and thank you for the super chat.
Now I think she's about to say something else too. Now, I wanted to tell you that, but I'm not a lawyer. And then, people could be like, hey, Tony don't know what she's talking about. She's not legal. So that's why I wanted her to tell you. She's a prosecutor, ex-prosecutor in Texas. So if she said that they can release Karmelo Anthony because the egregiousness that come out of this case, I'm all here for it. So let me tell you one thing, to the Anthony family and Karmelo Anthony family. I know we wanted you home this weekend, young man. We wanted you home. And guess what? Our prayers are still there. Our prayers have not died. Our prayers have not died. If you got to wait 6 months, 9 months, or a year, guess what? It is definitely better than 17 years, 35 years, we're still pushing for the Karmelo Anthony and Karmelo Anthony himself. So, hey, these months, these additional months, he may have to stay behind bars. It's still shorter than 17 years, 35 years. We just got to stay the course, and he also has to stay the course, okay? But trust me, if I'm pretty sure Russell Wilson knows all the bells and whistles and terminologies, legal terminologies, cases, in order to get his case pushed to the front or make it a high priority, I'm pretty sure he is not going to let it go behind the line at the back of the queue. Everything that just came out, and did y'all know, I don't know, I think she's going to say it, maybe Legal Doc said it, but I know Dwayne is going to say it. Do y'all know that it was some high-powered people in the courthouse last week in another room? Can I say A.G. Ken Paxton and Fallon, allegedly? So if it was nothing that was if it was no judicial misconduct in this case that went up all the way to the gates of heaven and all the way down to the pits of hell, why would a Texas representative and a governor be down in Collins County in another room in the courthouse, allegedly? Something else she's going to say. If not, it's in the next video. But I wanted y'all to hear this. I'm going to play it one more time because I had to keep playing this. He can be released. He can be released.
They get to review and get to rebuttal. And then the appeals court, it's a whole procedure. Sometimes it depends on how fast it is. And sometimes they will will grant the release of a defendant if it's that egregious. So not only do they have the appeal on the original trial, they have the appeal on the judge's decision to not grant the motion for a new trial under abuse of discretion. And thank you for the super chat.
Y'all.
They get to build on to their causes of action. So once they have that and they go and they proceed, they will then get a scheduling order for briefs. The appellate is the first person that has to turn in their brief. Then the respondent, who will be the state, will have a timeline to turn in their brief because they get to review and get to rebuttal. And then the appeals court, it's a whole procedure. Sometimes it depends on how fast
it is.
It is. And sometimes they will grant the release of a defendant if it's that egregious. So not only do they have the appeal on the original trial, they have the appeal on the judge's decision to not.
All right. Now, if this was anybody else, now if this was another content creator like myself, and I'm just throwing bubbles to the wind and rainbows and unicorns, and trust me, that's in my heart. But knowing that it's coming from a prosecutor in Texas, y'all, she knows what she's talking about. She knows what she's talking about. Very credible authoritative source right here that we hear talking to us. Okay, hold on. I want to make sure I didn't leave this in here.
How long does Melo have to wait for the next steps? Well,
so is that it? That's it for that one. Hold on. Go to the next one.
So
these are shorter.
The video.
Y'all ready for this? Hey, who me? I think you put it in here. Who me? Y'all, guess what she's about to say about that undocumented, unedited, non-distorted video, y'all. Guess what she's about to say? Now, I actually meant to put these videos in order, but it got out of order, but it seemed like they're in order of significance. Even I couldn't put it better than this. What she's about to say about that video. Yo, come on. I'll let her talk first. I'll let her talk.
Remember, I was like, this ain't the original video. It was the color folk that came out and said, that ain't the original video. Guess what? They had the video, the highlight video from Frisco ISD all along. They just did not, they put it in that faulty ass video. You know how we know? We saw that they turned it over on May 8th, 2026. That is so bad.
It's severe. Hold on. Let me play it again. This is the... Hold on. Tony, calm down. Let her talk a little bit more.
So bad.
Let her talk a little bit more.
Because Frisco ISD had it all along, and you mean to tell me you now turn it over? That's on the record.
That's on the record. Hold on.
So the video is very much in their possession.
The video, Karmelo Anthony team has the unredacted video. And guess what? They played it so smooth in court. They got the actual original footage in court. So here we go. You remember when I pulled up this article? I think it was on the first day, second day. It was on the second day. And the only reason I brought up the text messages, because that's the context on when we discovered this headline. So maybe that was my fault, but I was just trying to remind you on when this New York Post had said something about the prosecutor not turning over all the evidence, right? And we read the headline. Here you go. We read the headline. Let's see right here. Oh, they screaming all victory. They screaming victory. Let's see here. Prosecution. Oh, I hope they ain't buried it. If I can't find it. Oh, here you go. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. So let me set the stage again. It's for the tie into what she's about to say, or did say partially, okay? So everybody that was with me doing the live stream, do you remember when I brought this up and I said, Karmelo Anthony prosecutor reveals tort of evidence jury never saw? And I said, oh, y'all, we finna get somewhere. And I said, including disturbing text, low-key on the verge. So y'all remember this? I said, well, okay, let's see. So we go down and we're reading and we talk about the surgery on the shoulder, right? And we're reading and we start getting down to the text messages, right? And so we're reading word for word, right? And then it comes down. I said, oh my gosh, everybody telling the truth in the courtroom. I said, yo, this right here gives credence to Mike Howard's affidavit. So you remember, we kept reading. And this is when it came to starting about the disturbing text message, right? From Karmelo Anthony, which really wasn't. He was, those quotes were associated with a game, which they did not say. But I hope y'all remember when I got down to the bottom and I said, we don't care nothing about no text messages. I said, why would the New York Post put this out here? They making it seem like it's something else. I hope y'all remember this, right? I did it right here on live. I said, Karmelo Anthony prosecutor reveals trove of evidence. I said, well, why they just talking about the text? Y'all was right here with me. So y'all, I said, it gotta be something else. I said, they talking about some text messages? I said, it gotta be something else. Why the New York Post and all of the other mainstream medias never said that the prosecutor never turned over the crystal clear video to Karmelo Anthony defense team? Matter of fact, they did not even introduce it in court, just like the weapon. Let's not forget now, Russell Wilson and his team, listen, before and I'm gonna be honest with you, y'all, and I'm pretty sure it's more. We talking about also the autopsy. We also talk about the toxicology report. All of that, Russell Wilson and his team will get requested if they don't already have it and put it with that appeal packet. Well, I'm going to be honest with y'all. Before today, day 76, day 73, it was personal, but it wasn't personal. It was personal because I just know that Karmelo Anthony was going to get a new trial. I was 99.9%. Y'all remember when I said that? But because one judge did right, one judge did wrong, in my opinion. Even after all that information came out, I don't care if Santa Claus would have came down into the courtroom and started agitating me. It is no way that I would have took that out on 17-year-old, 19-year-old Karmelo Anthony. I don't care if 1,000 people would have tried to contact me if I'm on the judge of the case. And I'm hearing the prosecution saying all these egregious things, and I got a masterful appellate attorney in front of me. Ain't no way I'm going to let nobody distract me from doing what I need to do. But it's okay. It's okay. But I said this to say this. I said that to say this. Do y'all remember before we really got hot in this series and I brought up the Brady versus Maryland 1989 case? It actually is the U.S. Supreme Court law. And remember, we went over that. We was going over the Brady disclosure where it says that the prosecution must turn over everything. Do you know how many cases? This is what I'm trying to get to, and I'm going to get to it now. Do you know how many cases in American history, legal history, has been turned over because the prosecution did not turn over all the evidence just by default? And you mean to tell me it has been confirmed that the prosecution had the crystal clear video that they used to distort to show the jury? And do you really think after the Fifth Court Appellate, the Texas Fifth Court of Appeal, when they see that video, do you really think they're going to keep Karmelo Anthony behind bars when that video showed that he was jumped and beat? Now, we have seen some strange things. I know we have seen some strange things. We have seen some strange things. But if Karmelo Anthony, if he claims self-defense and you got a crystal clear video there, oh, they don't want that to go no higher. Because they cannot disobey the U.S. Supreme Court law, the Brady disclosure, where you have to turn over everything to the defense and the jury. But hey, it's something else I want to show you, okay? I'm finna, while I get this ready, I want to bring her back up to the stage. I got something for you.
How long does Melo have to wait for the next steps? Well, the next step, he don't have to wait. The next steps have been pouring in as we speak. The next steps is the appellate proceeding. They will have to get the record from the motion for a new trial so that they can further their pursuit. Because now that they have this record, guess what? They get to build on to their causes of action. So once they have that and they go and they proceed, they will then get a scheduling order for briefs. The appellate is the first person that has to turn in their brief. Then the respondent, who will be the state, will have a timeline to turn in their brief because they get to review and get to rebuttal. And then the appeals court, it's a whole procedure. Sometimes it depends on how fast it is. And sometimes they will grant the release of a defendant if it's that egregious. So not only do they have the appeal on the original trial, they have the appeal on the judge's decision to not grant the motion for a new trial under abuse of discretion.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for the super chat.
Hold on.
Do y'all know how bad that is? That's bad. So, another thing that we learned, hold on, we got it. How long does Melo have?
I just played that one.
Have that, and they go and they proceed. They filed. They will then get a scheduling order for briefs. The appellate is the first person that has to turn in that brief. Then the reaches. So not only do they have the appeal on the original trial, they have the appeal on the judge's decision to not grant the motion for a new trial under abuse of discretion.
Okay, so I must have missed it.
And thank you for this.
I must have missed it while going through pulling up the files and trying to focus on the chats. But did y'all hear her mention the date of May 8th? They've had the videotape since May 8th. Let me play this one more time because I want her to say it, and I want you to I'm going to show you proof. I'm about to show you proof that when she said May 8th, it brought me back to this document here. And now I know why. I know why they pushed him towards the gentleman's agreement. Hold on.
How long does Melo have to wait for the next steps? Well, the next step, he don't have to wait. The next steps have been pouring in as we speak. The next steps is the appellate proceeding. They will have to get the record from the motion for a new trial so that they can further their pursuit. Because now that they have this record, guess what? They get to build onto their causes of action. So once they have that and they go and they proceed, they will then get a scheduling order for briefs. The appellate is the first person that has to turn in that brief. Then the respondent, who will be the state, will have a timeline to turn in their brief because they get to review and get to rebuttal. And then the appeals court, it's a whole procedure. Sometimes it depends on how fast it is. And sometimes they will grant the release of a defendant if it's that egregious. So not only do they have the appeal on the original trial, they have the appeal on the judge's decision to not grant the motion for a new trial under abuse of discretion. And thank you for the super chat.
Where did she bring up the video?
Was on June, the overflow room away. Black guy who their handler. And ultimately, the breach that never happened. There was one standout also where Bill Wirskeye keep trying to say, do you trust me, Toby? Do you trust me? We've been friends since we jumped out the porch into these law streets. Toby said, I trust you, but Karmelo don't trust you. My trust for you has nothing to do with my client trusting you.
Okay, I don't want to play all them over again, but she's mentioned the May 8, 2026, that they had the video since May 8, 2026. Okay, I know she said it. I know she said. I know she said it when she talked about the video. but I'm not going to take you through that again. But this is what I want to show you. When she said that date last night, and I heard her say that, my brain automatically went to this, which is why I'm glad we're reading these documents. Let me show you exactly also what happened on May the 8th. This is Mike Howard's affidavit, okay? Now watch how this progresses, okay? Mike Howard, he's saying this. Number two, he's giving this role regarding the Karmelo Anthony case, okay? Number three, lead prosecutor in the case, yada, 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 yada. Only based on what happened under the tent. Okay, now let's frame this. Now that we know, Mr. Wilkie and Roach, they already know who those boys were. So they are already, how can I say it? Getting ready to kind of frame this agreement, gentleman's handshake, right? But hold on. Now look, on May the 5th, right? They discussed a proposed agreement by the phone. Now, knowing what I'm about to show you now and knowing what she said that the prosecution had the video since the 8th of May, guess the date of when the prosecution came back up to Mike Howard to discuss this gentleman's agreement, because they know what that videotape was going to show. Do y'all? Why is May the 8th, 2026 here, where the defense and the prosecution met in Collins County grand jury room? The prosecutor team gave us a document entitled States Notice to Intend to Use Extraneous Offenses. We gave them the document entitled Mr. Anthony Motion in Lyman regarding the admissibility of pertinent character trait, evidence, yada, 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 yada. And that's when they started talking about they only want to stick with what happened under the tent. When she said that date, this says, oh, this is why they came up with the gentleman's agreement, because Frisk, they turned over the crystal clear video on this particular same day. Now, do you think it's a coincidence that the prosecution comes up to Mike Howard and Toby Shook talking about trying to get this agreement, try to get the defendants to agree to this gentleman's agreement? Because they know Frisk had turned over the video a month before Karmelo Anthony trial. And on the same date that came out Friday, is that the defense had the prosecution had the crystal clear video, unredacted video on May the 8th, the same date that they came up with this gentleman's agreement, where we ain't gonna talk about nothing that happened under the tent. Because what happened under the tent, it shows that they were bullies, they was aggressive, they was violent. Look, related to violence and bullying. Oh my God, is this associated with what happened under the tent? You mean, and racism? See, this lets me know here that the prosecution, and don't forget the prosecution said, I think it was in 23, that he knew that the aggressor was Austin Metcalf. But isn't it funny? The 5th paragraph on this date, when he goes and talks to the prosecution in the Collins County grand jury room, all of these details referred to the gentleman's agreement, all on the same date that Frisk gave them the video. They're talking about the Metcalf twins' reputation, extraness, offensive, related to violence and bullying, because that's exactly what happened under that tent. Even the racism part of it happened under that tent. When she said that date, I said, oh my gosh, look. And those witnesses discussed that Metcalf twins being passionate and triggered and not tolerating being disrespectful, etc., etc. Mr. Wickley eventually agreed the questions narrowly tailored to ask specific statements the witnesses made to the police about the incident. Yo, it actually was some witnesses that was going to testify to tell the jury and everybody in the courtroom the truth, what happened under the tent. But because this gentleman's agreement, that actually was the detriment. That's when remember she kept saying the detriment to Karmelo Anthony. This agreement was the detriment to him, where it was so dangerous, and it was so dangerous that it prevented him to either testifying in his own trial, y'all. We ain't seen nothing yet. We haven't seen nothing yet. Now, mind you, on the same date that they received the video, do you see this? May the 8th, 2026. Look at this long. This is the longest paragraph in Mike Howard's affidavit. Let me keep going. Short paragraph. See? Short paragraphs. When they got that video and actually looked at that video, now once again, this right here, is this the way where he said ambiguous? Okay. So once again, they're talking about the gentleman's agreement. But when they go down here, see, paragraph 5 is the longest paragraph. The same date that they received that video from FISD, right? Here we go. Do y'all see this mouse? Okay, y'all see this mouse. Once again, I want to prove to you now, the prosecution knew exactly what they was doing when FISD turned over that video less than 1 month. I'm going to say 1 month 1 month when Karmelo Anthony was found guilty. And they turned over the video. They actually turned over the video to the prosecution. And the prosecution knew what he was doing. He says right here, furthermore, Mr. Rookie stated at that time, the prosecution already have arrested character, reputation, Mr. Wiki, and I mentioned the ambiguous aggressor rule from Torres. Mr. Wiki agreed that Torres did not apply because it was not ambiguous who the first aggressor was. The first aggressor was clearly Austin Metcalf. He knew this. Now, one good thing about this here. Now, we already see why the prosecution came up with the gentleman's agreement, because they probably thought that FISD was not going to turn over the video. And I'm going to say, I don't know why, but they did turn over the video after a year of the incident under the tent. But we cannot deny, y'all, please write this in your notebooks. We cannot deny, because it came out in court on Friday. That's why we got a lot of wins. We didn't win the battle, but we got a lot of wins that will make us win the war. We're going to win this war. Make notes in your book, in your notebooks, right? On the same day that FISD the video to the prosecution, it was the prosecution on the same date that called Mike Howard into the office, the grand jury room, to discuss this gentleman's agreement, because they know, oh Lord, oh, we about to lose this. Oh, it actually shows the Metcalf twins actually was being who they were. But see, at this time, they had already put too much stock into this. At this time, they had put too much bad information out about Karmelo Anthony, and they didn't want to, quote unquote, take this L. So they had to come up with this gentleman's agreement. Now, I don't know if Mike Howard knew that they had the crystal clear video. I don't know. But we do know also in here that it was the prosecution said, we're not going to introduce the knife. And I said, why are you not going to introduce the knife? Was that 12? I think that was paragraph 12. Hold on. Let me go back here. I think that was paragraph 12, that it was the prosecution stated that they didn't want the knife introduced in court. And back then, we read this on the 9th of July. We was like, well, why the prosecution don't want the knife introduced? Now, hindsight is 2020. I think it was 12. I think it was paragraph 12. Oh, no, paragraph 12 was this. Let me see if I can do a quick thing for knife. It was the prosecution that didn't want the knife to be introduced. All these jokers. And then they came up with all of this crazy stuff. Here you go. I'm sorry. It was 1-1-12. It was 1-1-12. It was 1-1-12. Let's see here. It would otherwise have pursued concerning the weapon on the assumption that the agreed upon evidence would not be introduced. Before and during the trial, the state and the defense operated under the unwritten. Listen, this is actually in the appeal. This appeal packet. So so to all of the trolls in the room, if y'all just sitting back, if y'all come across this video, you got to ask yourself, what will any prudent judge, attorney, when they was like, okay, the weapon was not introduced in court, this crystal clear video showing that he was jumped under the tent was not introduced, the weapon was brought to court, the autopsy was not brought to court, the toxicology was not brought to court. Y'all, that's all I need to hear. The charges will be dismissed. You cannot, if you don't understand what I'm saying, this is what I'm saying. No one in any trial, evidence cannot be withheld. I don't care who it is, white, black, you, man or woman, no prosecution can withhold evidence, especially evidence that is going to free a defendant. Texas is going to burn for this one. But y'all see it, paragraph 112 in Karmelo Anthony appeal packet, where the assumption that the agreed upon evidence would not be introduced and the understanding was never reduced to writing a place in the record. Mike Howard, this is Mike Howard's exhibit 10. That's why I tried to go to Mike Howard's affidavit, but it also was in 112. But what y'all got to say? What y'all got to say? Let me go to the comments. And then I'm going to go to LaykeyshaLaykesha, her 3, because I already had y'all on here already an hour and 11 minutes. I just wanted to recap the night on the videos that I have found. But I saw that, hey, amen, Tony. And this is with definitely egregious facts. Come on with it. And if you, what's going on in the thing? Oh, there's probably some trolls up in here. And Bonnie, and to all of the other investors in here. Tomorrow, I'm going to have just a regular YouTube live, where I need to have you to come into the room and just say, hey, so I can make some of you more additional mods. Because Bunny, I'm trying to add your wrench back, and YouTube is not letting me now because I'm online, okay? But I do got your name down. But I need to add some more mods because I'm pretty sure they're trying to do their best right now. But how do y'all feel about the correlation with the dates? Good night. Good night, Teresa. Discovery, people discovery. I sure hope they do. Let's see here. I said motion to dismiss. Tony, I got to say free Karmelo for wrongfully conviction. Come on with it. Come on with it. Like everything is in the transcript. Right. They so sloppy. And I heard, so Dwayne, and I'm finna go into the LaykeyshaLaykesha. She only got 3. You only got 3 videos. I'm gonna play the 2 small ones first, and then I'm gonna play the long one. The long one explains everything that's gonna align with the 2 smaller ones. But man, hey, how you doing? How you doing? How do y'all feel about? Oh Lord, if I'm a mod, I get these low common sense fools out of here. Trust me. I need to do that through YouTube, not StreamYard. And the appeal team in Dallas, and it's very diverse, right? They're about to look stupid because they're the ones who remove Roach. If I'm a mod, I haven't given you a mod yet, but trust me, I know y'all names. I have certain ones in mind, okay? Will this be dismiss? Dismiss. And if they want to do a new trial, still release him, because we already played what Thelma Anderson said. They can release a defendant, especially when egregious evidence is presented in the appeal process. But yeah, I'll say dismiss, but they can definitely release him and then do a new trial. But all of this, especially why would it be a new trial if the video showed him being attacked by multiple assailants under the tent? What do we need to talk about then? We don't need to talk about nothing. It shows clear self-defense. I understand. Oh, I need to put her up here. Hold on, y'all. I want to put a break. One clear break. I want to give, trust me. I want to say shout out to this sister here. Hold on, y'all. I want to shout out to this sister here. May you rest in peace. Rest in peace. We've lost so many sisters at the hands of our community and the other community, and especially law enforcement, abusing their power. That's what her name is. I put the wrong name in there. Here we go. To our sister, Sonya Massey, rest in peace. Rest in peace. Sonya Massey, the police officer that unalived her in her kitchen when she called them, when she thought it was a burglar or someone outside of her house. Rest in peace, Sonya Massey. He has met his maker. So I always heard my grandmother said, baby, you can't get them like God can. Just sit back and rest a little bit. It took less than 2 years, and he was gone. Less than 2 years, and he was gone. I don't even think at this time this young man knew he had cancer or he had developed cancer, but less than 2 years. And do y'all remember when that sister said, when she was calling on the name of Jesus and it irritated this demon, and he pulled out his weapon and he unalived our sister in her kitchen, and all she said, in the name of Jesus. And something triggered in him for him to pull out his weapon, and he unalived her. Rest in peace, Sonya Massey. Rest in peace, sister. Rest in peace. So, hey, sometimes we can't get them. Sometimes we can't get them like we want to, but listen, we still serve an almighty God. Sometimes we can't get them like we want to, but listen, less than 2 years. And I would never say rest in peace to him. He unalived her, dropped her right there for what? For what? But I'm going to get back. But if y'all haven't heard that news, her unalive her, he has met his maker. 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 And look at them eyes. Look at them eyes. Ain't nothing in there. Ain't nothing in there. And we know it never will be. Boy. Now let me get back on Karmelo Anthony. Now, going back to what I said earlier when I first started this, and I'm not going to keep you that long, but rest in peace, Sonya Massey. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. And she the one that called law enforcement. Rest in peace. Less than 2 years, he was gone. Matter of fact, hold on. When did she pass away? Hold on. I want to see. When did this incident happen? July the 6th. And isn't it ironic in what he passed away, maybe 2 days ago? Almost 2 years to the date that Sean Grayson met his maker. Oh, Lord. They don't know who they messing with. Now, let me go to LaykeyshaLaykesha. Now, some of the interesting information that Dwayne, who was actually present, hey, I got happy, y'all. I got happy. Hold on. He's going to say some interesting things about him being in the courtroom. He's going to talk about Russell Wilson. He's also going to talk about where he saw the judge leaning to grant Karmelo Anthony a new trial. Even if it was for a split second, he said he could feel him going that way, but other outside noises and people irritated the judge and kind of unexpectedly supported the prosecution's allegations of outside noise impacting the case, which is why they did what they did in preventing the public from being part of Karmelo Anthony trial. Yeah, that's what the prosecution was arguing, that the reason why they did what they did, the reason why they didn't put nothing on the record, because they said that influencers, content creators, and outside forces were impacting the case where it became dangerous for everybody, which is why they didn't put nothing on the docket. You know, that's a crock of BS. But that's what Wirskeye used to not create a record, right? And Dwayne is going to say that on the last day, or maybe the day before, on day 2 or day 3 or the end or the middle or day 3, that's when certain characters, I don't know if they intentionally did it or unintentionally, but they started trying to contact the judge while he's on the stand in Karmelo Anthony trial, and the judge got irritated. Now, hey, could the judge have used that as an excuse to deny Karmelo Anthony a new trial? Only he can say that. But come on to the stage.
Hey, we did it because this is what we had to do, and we've done it like this all the time. So
shout out to Thelma Anderson and also LaykeyshaLaykesha. Thank you so much for the content.
I feel like that is all good information, although obviously Karmelo didn't get the actual, he didn't get the, to be able to do the trial over. He still has a shot at the appeal process because now they have more information.
Correct. And that's why I said earlier that Russell Wilson was playing chess, not checkers. People have to remember what we just witnessed about the judge recusal and having the opportunity to seek a new trial. That's not filed that often. It's just not. And I'm going to tell you the reason why, because it has a statutory limit, a time limit that it all has to happen. And most defendants that get convicted, you're not thinking that fast to hire a lawyer, get a team together, go find out all this stuff, get it filed, and hope that you can get into get a case on the docket, a court case on a court date on the docket that you can get it done in enough time. People just go to direct appeal. You wait for your appeal process, and then you try to get action based on that. What was so strategically brilliant on the part of Russell Wilson is that he knew that they had no information. Because people forget, as you spoke on earlier, when this case was adjudicated on June the 9th, on June the 9th that evening, going into the 10th that morning, Judge Roach told his people to put everything in his office. On that day, on the 9th, once he was adjudicated, everything was supposed to go to the clerk. The clerks were supposed to upload everything to the portal, and it was supposed to be available to the public. Instead, Judge Roach hid everything, just like Trump did over in Mar-a-Lago when he took everything when he came out of the office and hid everything in the ballroom, the bathroom, and didn't tell nobody. Right. Judge Roach did the same thing. And so when you seen Russell Wilson them come and they were going to take the long shot, they had nothing. They didn't know what happened. They had to rely on people who were at the trial and the transcripts from the news media in order to know something that happened. And it was only by chance that they were willing to get Mike Howard to come on record and say what he knew, which triggered now Toby Shook having to say what he knew at that point in time. And then we start getting trinkets of this, and now we getting the transcripts. Now we getting this, because at that point in time, now AG Ken Paxton and all them are calling down like, wait a minute, that dude right there, Russell Wilson, he ain't gonna play. He got a history of making sure you go see prison.
And you mean to tell me that the other side want us to believe that this is over when Ken Paxton, do y'all remember Karmelo Anthony was found guilty on June the 9th, and June the 14th, it was announced on that Monday that Karmelo Anthony had this coalition of 6 lawyers that was going to do it pro bono. And remember, everybody got quiet. Everybody, including Pat Fallon, Ken Paxton, even the Metcalfs got quiet. Everybody got quiet. I even had investors here from Dallas and say, Tony, they're not even talking about the case no more. And the other side want us to believe that this is over, even when Ken Paxton had to call down to Collin County and say, you need to give them anything they asking for. That's when Collins County, they published those partial transcripts. You don't got to believe me. Let me back it up a little bit.
And so when you seen Russell Wilson them come and they were going to take the long shot, they had nothing. They didn't know what happened. They had to rely on people who were at the trial and the transcripts from the news media in order to know something that happened. And it was only by chance that they were willing to get Mike Howard to come on record and say what he knew, which triggered now Toby Shook having to say what he knew at that point in time. And then we start getting trinkets of this, and now we getting the transcripts. Now we getting this, because at that point in time, now AG Ken Paxton and all them are calling down like, wait a minute, that dude right there, Russell Wilson, he ain't gonna play. He got a history of making sure you go see prison. So we want to make sure that we ain't gonna be afoot. So you better release. And all of a sudden, that's when we got the videos, the video from the prosecution that they doctored. That's when we start getting all the other information and everything, because Judge Roach is not going to release nothing. And so since we go through this process, I know that it's a chance every time. So that's why you see motions most of the time to challenge certain evidence and all that stuff, because you just might win. But if not, we're going to be concentrating on the next end. And I think that's what the attorneys here, Russell Wilson and his team, were banking on. Because if we have these hearings, then we will pull out and extract information that we would not have. Guess what? We finally, look, I've been waiting on the Twins records since I filed for it last year. A lot of people have. Now we've got some information from the streets, but we've been waiting on the documents. The documents were there. We knew they had them. And so at the end of the day, now we all have them. We've been telling people for a year and some change they had. I know I said they had like 18, 19, 20 pages of issues and all that stuff. I've said it many times in this past year and some change, because we knew what we were looking at. We just didn't have the paperwork. Now we have it. It's record now. And they had to bring it out, the stuff they was hiding. So guess what? Like you said earlier, every piece of item, line item, word, and evidence is now in the system. And I'm gonna tell you what that retired judge did. That's why I know that his hands was tied, because when they got through talking, because they were trying to stall out, the prosecution was, and as soon as they got through, he cleared the courtroom. He told everybody, okay, we good. And he told those attorneys, I need everything that you presented. I need it all turned in right now. That's what the judge told them in open court as them people was leaving. So what the judge was thinking is that, I don't know how this is going to go, but I think I see the way that young fellow over there is moving. Talk about Russell Wilson. And
even Judge, so basically what he's saying, Judge Chitty must have realized what Wilson was doing in the second half of Friday. And he said, no. You got to give me everything. Because he started peeping what Russell Wilson was doing. And the prosecution sitting over here all arrogant and egotistical. Y'all heard what Dwayne just said? Even the judge started noticing what he called him the young man over there was doing. He said, you got to bring me everything. Bring me everything. Hold on, let me rewind that a little bit. Here we go.
Because they were trying to stall out, the prosecution was. And as soon as they got through, he cleared the courtroom. He told everybody, okay, we good. And he told those attorneys, I need everything that you presented. I need it all turned in right now. That's what the judge told them in open court as them people were leaving. So what the judge was thinking is that I don't know how this is gonna go, but I think I see the way that young fellow over there is moving. Talk about Russell Wilson. And he said, I'm gonna make sure I preserve everything. And he got them to bring everything in because he knows, regardless of which way he rules, they're gonna need all this because he's seen that these people been hiding stuff.
Did you hear what he said? He said, Chitty, in the last hour, even though we know now he denied Karmelo Anthony new legal team, guess what he did based on what Dwayne just said? Guess what Dwayne basically just said? The judge saw, oh my gosh, the prosecution, they've been hiding stuff. But guess what he did say? Bring me everything because I'm finna preserve everything. So that means the prosecution, Greg, what's the name? I'm put Greg Willis in there too, and also Bill Wirskeye. Guess what? They can't get back that video. They can't get back that evidence they never turned over to the defense. They cannot get none of that back. The judge said, you got to turn it in and we're going to preserve it. I want to hear that one more time. I want to hear that one more time now. Come on. See, because we wasn't in the courtroom. That's why we need this account. Listen to what he said again. Because the judge started, the judge started, he said,
because we knew what we were looking at. We just didn't have the paperwork. Now we have it. It's record now. And they had to bring it out, the stuff they was hiding. So guess what? Like you said earlier, every piece of item, line item, word, and evidence is now in the system. And I'm gonna tell you what that retired judge did. That's why I know that his hands was tied. Because when they got through talking, because they were trying to stall out, the prosecution was, and as soon as they got through, he cleared the courtroom. He told everybody, okay, we good. And he told those attorneys, I need everything that you presented. I need it all turned in right now. That's what the judge told them in open court as them people were leaving. So what the judge was thinking is that I don't know how this is gonna go, but I think I see the way that young fellow over there is moving. Talk about Russell Wilson. And he said, I'm going to make sure I preserve everything. And he got them to bring everything in because he knows, regardless of which way he rules, they're going to need all this because he's seen that these people been hiding stuff. And so
he said the prosecution been hiding stuff. Now, let me tell you one thing. If you don't know, when the judge called all the evidence in, everything, bring me everything, guess what? By law, he did, right? Everything now is on record. Everything now should go into a chain of custody. Everything now, it will be under lock and key. Nobody won't be able, the prosecution won't be saying, hey, let me get that video back. Or, hey, no, this is our video. We're going to keep this video. No. The judge has preserved everything. So even though he denied Karmelo Anthony new trial, guess what? Under his authority, he said, give me all that evidence. Y'all, we got everything. We got everything on record now. Even all the evidence, even the affidavit, Micah Howard's affidavit. Remember, that wasn't even on record. We also got, now that's officially on record. What else we got? We got the Metcalf twins. What I want to call that? History of diabolical behavior. Now we got that on record. That is on record. What else? We got the evidence. We got the video now. We got the, matter of fact, I need to contact him because I want to know what the judge said. Well, guess what? If they didn't, I'm pretty sure they didn't bring the actual weapon to court, but I'm pretty sure Russell Wilson and his team, they're doing everything in their hands to get the toxicology report, the autopsy report, and the weapon, right? Okay, let's keep going. I don't got happy.
People don't, and that's the brilliance of good lawyering, or being a good lawyer. I'll put it that way, because you do look ahead and you say, okay, if I do not get this, this is going to help my action that I already got going, because the direct appeal was going to be there regardless. And so now you take all this information, you build on it, and now you have a chance now to get every piece of discovery that's not available. You get it now because they can't withhold it no more. And they now.
Did y'all hear that? The prosecution was not able to take that evidence back that the jury or the defense never see, and the judge got it in preservation. Yo, listen, the other side don't know. See, I heard everybody talking about the coons, and the coon said this, the coon said this. Now I heard about, I don't know, the other stuff. I don't even know who was talking about hair or weave or whatever the case may be. I haven't even heard none of that stuff. But this is what we're going to focus on right here. The Russell Wilson team, they got everything. They probably lost this little battle in court, but they finna win the war. They got everything. Getting too happy.
I have to give it to you. And when you get to that direct appeal, oh boy, it's going to be fireworks.
It's going to be fireworks.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
All right, let's go to the next one.
People, if you know you license, them saying you're not.
Okay, so in this particular short video, she's about to talk about the other factors that irritated the judge. Okay, so I'm gonna let this play. I have no commentary on this. I'm just gonna listen just like you are, okay?
License, you don't need to prove this. Like,
it don't. And if not, sue them for defamation. I mean, for defamation or something. You can do that privately. We don't even have to know nothing about that. So why would you file a motion into?
I'm gonna play now. I'm gonna come back to that one. I'm gonna play this one so y'all can understand this one I just played. Okay.
2 people, and they said that they were causing problems. Now,
correct.
I'm kind of confused because I wasn't there, obviously, but they're putting in the chat that, and see, I don't know this because anybody could call into a court and say, so I don't know, but they're saying that King Cass called the judge. I don't
correct,
know.
He did.
And said while they were deliberating, and said that I guess that the district attorney was using his name.
Correct, he did. And he filmed it like a dummy. So yes, that is a fact. Yes, he did. Not only that, King Cass was doing all kind of things during this case, during this time of inserting himself to the case. He was inserting himself into the case. I'll just put it that way. And he was showing them that basically his briefs that he filed, because he filed briefs, he did all kinds of things in there, inserting himself into these motions. I ain't talking about the trial, and these said motions this week. And then he got mad because Bill Wirskeye actually mentioned it and said it in the court. He mentioned him by name. He mentioned Tiffany Lynn McAdoo Billions by name. And he had said that they were part of the causes of the issues and the threats and this and that. And so he called them out repeatedly since Wednesday. He been calling their name every day. And so King Cass, he sent a cease and desist letter. He called, he filed, he did all kind of stuff, and he called the court.
I don't understand why you would call the judge. That's why I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what?
He called the court.
The judge?
Yes, he did.
I'm so confused right now.
Yeah, he called the court. And he felt that he was going to get some play by calling the judge, and the judge quickly hung up on him, which he should. But it was just a moment to where, as a person who is a seasoned lawyer himself, a person who is a seasoned journalist himself, he should know better. And he did not do better. But like I said, those are the things that people have had to endure, and what Karmelo had to endure through this whole moment because of people who brain cells are not operating that well like this. And if you want to, I have the video.
Right. I remember, and I want to bring this up because you told me this a long time ago. I don't remember. You said that Tiffany was causing problems with this case.
Correct.
You said that.
Correct. And we found that out because it was I like I said, I went up on the live early in this situation last year and saw her up there spitboxing and cussing with people, and I went up just to rescue a sister from that moment and talk about some other things. And after that, she was following me along, all that stuff. And I started noticing after we were all advocating together, we're pulling, myself and about 3 others, we're pulling FOIA requests, we're getting information, and all the stuff we're getting, we're sharing with her because we're all advocating. And at this point, she didn't kind of inserted herself as being a lead advocate. And so everybody's kind of, sharing so we can get the information out. Don't matter who leads, let's just get it out there. But it also became apparent that, okay, we're doing all this, what are you doing? And so it was like, and now you're telling some of these other people that it's your work, but these other folks done it. And it's like, what are you doing? And so then we started figuring out that not only is the work that we're finding and we're doing and the information we're getting, we also see over here that it's kind of looking strange about the way you're moving, because the way you're moving is counterproductive to what the lawyers are doing. Even though I didn't trust Mike Howard, I wanted Mike Howard fired. I would never do anything in the court to harm Karmelo in his case. And so, but she was doing that. And then she started doing other things where we were saying that.
Now, I just need to break this up for the algorithm. Now, I don't know a Tiffany Billions. Of course, I've heard of her name. And of course, this is Dwayne's statement. Now, I'm very surprised about Chris King. I think that's his name, Chris King. But they're going to show the video of him calling the court, calling the judge. So I don't know if he knew that his actions was going to irritate the judge, become detrimental to Karmelo Anthony new trial. But I get what they're saying. I get what they're saying. If Chris King intentionally or unintentionally did it, I never would have done that, especially if, because Chris King said he knew Karmelo Anthony lawyers, Wilson and everybody, and he said it was very good, powerful lawyers. So I never would have got in the way. If I would have had an issue with what the prosecution was saying about me, why? I would have never disturbed the judge. I would have never disturbed the deliberations. When I know I've been screaming free Karmelo Anthony, free Karmelo Anthony, free Karmelo Anthony for over a year and almost a half, I would have took my ego, put it aside, and wait till Monday morning. Wait till Monday morning to go after the prosecution, but not at this time. Why? But for everybody that's coming into the room, that's what's going on. He's explaining this. Not Tiffany Billions. I don't even know who she is. I really don't. I don't know nothing she's done. But according to what Dwayne is speaking about, I guess she was behind the scenes doing stuff too. Doing Karmelo Anthony new trial deliberations. And if she walked up to me, I wouldn't know who she is. I only heard of her name, but why would they do this? Intentionally or unintentionally? Well, of course we know why intentionally, but I don't know. Even LaykeyshaLaykesha is going to be surprised about Dwayne, but not Dwayne, Chris King, but
hey, we need to get Mike Howard off the case. She was telling people, no, he needs to stay because we need to make it to trial. And we're like, he can't go to trial. He goes to trial, they give him 30 years. And no, he needs to be vindicated. And it was those type of things. Not only that, but it was other things. People were trying to give Andrew Anthony a job to work at home doing the same thing. Those people reaching out to her because, again, she inserted herself as the main advocate, told people she had direct contact and talked to them every day. So they were coming to her like, hey, just have him call. I already worked out my company. They're going to hire him. He's going to be making the same money. That woman blocked that woman and didn't tell nobody that she didn't get it over or not. And that lady reached out to everybody and was like, hey, what happened? She blocked me. He never called because she never gave it to Drew Anthony. She never gave the information to Andrew Anthony so he can make 6 figures working from home and protect his family during this situation. She never gave it. But she was telling us that he was fine, that everything was good. But then at the same time, he needed money. He needed this. He needed that. And so it became a moment to where it was questionable. So now you're looking at, okay, you're doing these things, you're harming the family. Now let me start investigating. Let me start figuring this out. And by the way, I'm going to also make sure I keep track of you because I see now some criminal stuff happening. And I'm going to make sure you go to jail for messing with these people. And so it's kind of that moment. So people ask why they didn't know about it. It ain't that you didn't know about it, you just weren't listening. Because I know I was speaking about it, and other people were, but people just weren't listening. And yeah, yeah, people weren't listening. And so, and now it comes up, and we're the next year over. Why nobody didn't tell me? Well, you knew. You just didn't want to hear it from me. You just didn't want to hear it from other people. And you thought that we were just hating and we didn't like her and all this other drama that people had. And now that it's evident, now you just want to forget it. But guess what? Karmelo would not be in this situation if we would have just did right by him in the first place. And that's what we need to learn from this. But moving forward, know that those people like that, because just today, she blocked all the people that were helping her cover up, help her try to run me off, try to run folks like that off. And those people that knew, I'm pretty sure she got all the information from them she need. And she blocked all those people on TikTok yesterday. Because it's over with for her. She already knew. Now, I said yesterday, I didn't say today. She already knew that he was going to be denied because she knew because she worked with them folk. She worked with the other side. And so she already knew because if you look at all of them, they all had the energy of knowing what was going to happen. Jeff Metcalf sending out threats to Dominique Alexander on his inbox like he wasn't going to share it. All these different things that's going on, all these people were moving the same exact way yesterday before we even got to the verdict of what the judge was going to do today. And so, but they weren't moving that way when we got the recusal because they didn't know. They couldn't get to that judge. That man right there don't play. So at the end of the day, it was nothing you could do with him. With this judge right here, his whole mindset changed when he got that call from King Cass.
Did y'all hear that? God dang. Hey, listen. Listen, I've listened to every interview that Dwayne has been on. And I have never had to question anything. Do I know him? No, I don't know him. But he was the first one I heard about 2 wounds, a womb in the abdominal. I said a womb in the abdominal. What Dwayne talking about? Dwayne also said some other stuff. And then when we started reading the transcripts, I said, oh, this is what Dwayne was talking about. So, hey, I've been able to check and verify everything, some of the things Dwayne has said in documentations. And I found that Dwayne was the first one they talked about 2 wounds, abdominal wound on Austin Metcalf. I said, what? And y'all know we saw that in the transcripts. Nobody still ain't said nothing about the abdominal wound. Was that the only wound? But no, what we did hit a 911 call. So it was a wound also in the chest. But why the coach didn't talk about the wound in the chest, but he definitely was putting pressure on the wound in the abdominal. But I'm going to keep playing this.
It just changed him. He was over and done at that point.
I'm so confused right now. Like I am starting to realize that people on the internet is straight up weird because let me just make sure you understand. My understanding when he was saying that he was filing motions, I thought he was filing stuff to get the video, to get different things from the school. So now I'm just like not understanding, like, then what the heck were you filing? I thought he was filing something to help get, information out to the public. I'm confused.
I don't know if you can see that, but this is a cease and desist that was filed by him. That's on the 21st. That was sent to the court, sent to all of them. And if you see, that says Bill Wirskeye. That's how I got it saved. But that's what it is. It's to Bill Wirskeye, and this is the cease and desist. So at the end of the day, this is the stuff that he was filing. And if you look on the registry of action, you'll see the third party filings. You'll see them where he filed. And I'm saying it only because he said it publicly. Well, and so at the end of the day,
let's watch this video because I think they're saying I didn't see.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, I got the video. I was gonna play it for you. You got it right there. Go ahead.
Great afternoon or morning. If this is Judge Chitty, this is Attorney Christopher King calling on a recorded line. This will be the shortest phone call in existence because Attorney Wirskeye is not present with us. And I do not want to do ex parte, but I have sent him a notice that Bill Wirskeye lied in open court yesterday. So that's the result. Why can't black people have or do or be anything in this country? I can't be an attorney. I can't be a journalist. We can't sit where we want to sit. What's it all about? That man sat up there and told bald-faced lies about me in court yesterday. Yes, he did. And it's unacceptable, period. And I stand on that. Then that's that. See you.
Listen, I'm sitting here.
Called.
But see, he has an issue with Wirskeye. Why call the judge? Why call the judge while he's deliberating over Karmelo Anthony motion for a new trial?
The judge directly.
I am
told him he was going to hang up and that it was going to be short because it was ex parte. You just did that for content. Because that's improper.
Saying that, I'm applaud. Like, what is happening here? Like, what is really going on?
Yeah. And people think that we just be talking outside of our neck. Everything that we know when we're doing advocacy and investigations and trying to help people, you can't talk about everything. I don't know why people think that everything that you learn, you got to talk about, because you can't. I can't talk about the things that I went to Louisiana myself for and went to go find out about rumors they said about Karmelo. I did on my own. I'm not going to turn around and tell you nothing. But when I tell you that, hey, no, them people, they're not being honest. Oh, no, it's not that. I'm telling you because I know it as a matter of fact. I don't have to go into details. And people like him should definitely understand that. Not only one, has he not been an advocate for decades, he's been a lawyer for decades. He's been a journalist for decades.
Yeah, why would
the
he
man
do
got
that?
all kind of accolades out there sitting in different columns and stuff that his name and face is on. He worked right there in the same city that we were talking about in Frisco, Texas.
So why would he
as
do
a
that?
lawyer? So at the end of the day, that's understood. So why would you be in your feelings that Bill Wirskeye, who was willing to lie about talking to the girlfriend about what she was doing, what she believed, and what she saw, why would you be in your feelings as a grown old dude worried about this man lying about you in court when you know you got your bar card, when you know that you're a journalist, when you know that you can get up, put that press vest on and go anywhere you want to in this country and be a journalist? Why would you be worried about what this man is saying? You should have been smiling like, thank you.
Well, the thing of it is, this is not about nobody but
Karmelo Anthony.
Yes. We're not going to court about a case. It doesn't matter if we lied on. It doesn't do it. No, none of that matters. So it's not. I'm just so very not understing. You know, I don't know. I'm confused. Very confused.
And I told him months ago. He and I have had many conversations about this very thing. It's like sometimes you do the wrong thing and hurt your good cause. And the man can offer a whole lot to a lot of things. However, sometimes our ego and our will to do the stupid stuff for our own moment and purpose gets in the way. And that's just bottom line. And this is a direct live example of just that. A good person with a decent heart doing good work, and you allowed your ego, your moment, and whatever the vibrato that you got going down and your feelings about this man mentioning you in court. So what? Say thank you. He gonna let you go viral, go talk about it on your podcast. But do not do nothing to harm Karmelo, because that's what it's about.
Right. Because you know what? You just gave the judge an out. Even if it not follow that, so from a judge standpoint, he's like, damn, I only been here for a day and I'm already getting calls. I only been here for a day. So I'm just sad that you thought that was important to call the judge.
Well, here's a thought, and it may get me in trouble with some people, but I'm going to go and say it anyway because I'm feeling that way this weekend and last week. Listen, the judge heard from Bill Wirskeye that the main cause and problem in this case was influencers. Did he not say it on Wednesday? I know I heard him say it. Was that Wednesday? No, it was Thursday when Mike Howard was up testifying. So he said on Thursday with Mike Howard. He said the main problem was influencers. He said it Wednesday and Thursday. That's what he did. And so he kept harping on it. Everything was about the influencers. The influencers. They were doing this. It's no problem with this, and the other. the security problems came from the influencers on Karmelo Anthony's side. He just kept saying it. And so now we get to Friday, and he said it again, and he kept saying it. And when Toby Shook was up, he was like, it's this, it's that. And, after Toby Shook told him that, no, yeah, I know you're my friend. And yeah, I know you can trust me, but my client don't trust you. When we got through all that stuff, he still was sneaking in influencers. And then all of a sudden, the judge has heard this for 2 days straight, that the influencers are the ones that's causing all of the harm, the pain, doing the doxing, doing the threatening, doing all this stuff. He's heard this from the prosecution. And then all of a sudden, he gets a direct call from the actual dude that's been talked about for 3 days. Not one, not two, but 3 days. You've been mentioned in that court. And all of a sudden you call the judge directly. Don't you know that's a threat? Because you've been mentioned in the court. So it's one or two things. You either just throw it off and your brain cells don't work, or two, you did it on purpose.
Yeah,
I'll let him sit with that.
Yeah, I have no words. I mean, listen, I'm a hothead at times, but I would never call. What the hell am I calling? What am I calling the judge for? The judge cannot even talk to you.
All right, now I got one little snippet right here. So now y'all got the context. Y'all got the background. So let me finish.
This boy's case, and then also call the visiting retired judge that's actually sitting over the case, and he don't even have jurisdiction here. He's only doing it because the supervising judge that's over that area is actually got him there to oversee this.
No, correction. He's just giving his opinion. He's not saying that it's concrete. Now they actually showed the video of Chris King calling the judge in the courthouse. We actually saw proof of that ourselves. Now, they said allegedly a possibility the judge took all this in consideration from the influencer, lawyer, publicist, that Bill Wirskeye was brought up in 3 days, and he actually called the judge himself. So the judge probably put 2 and 2 together. That's all they're saying. So don't take this out of context. But we actually saw Chris King call the judge himself. He filmed it. He screamed it. He put it out there on social media.
Why are you calling this man?
Right. I don't know. I listen, I don't know, but that's a shame. But this is what I want you to talk about, because I feel like Karmelo.
So that's it right there. So that's it. So go out and watch her video. I have not watched the end of it. It's like 2 hours and 30 minutes. I think she did with Dwayne maybe a day or two ago. What was the name of the video? But it's 2 hours and a half, and I have not been able to get through the whole entire thing. Hold on, let me go in and show you exactly what video it is. But I just want to do a small recap on the information that I found. And it's one last thing I want to. Somebody had put something in one of my videos, Hold on. I want to pull up this video here for LaykeyshaLaykesha for you to go out and support that video. And then, of course, you already know Thelma Anderson. LaykeyshaLaykesha. I'll show you the video title. Let's see right here. LaykeyshaLaykesha. Let's see here. All right, so here's the video that I just pulled that context for. Shout out to LaykeyshaLaykesha. This is the video here. Is it this one? Is it this one? I think it was this one. Hold on. Yeah, so here we go. So it's called episode 94, Karmelo Anthony new trial denial. In-court supporter weighs in on decisions. So Dwayne is entitled to his opinion, and he was in there all day. He's been with Karmelo Anthony family, he's been talking about both of the first trial and this here. So, hey, and like I said, without Dwayne, I never would have known that Austin Metcalf had 2 wounds. But not, but for some reason, it's not documented in the autopsy that we went over, but it's definitely documented in the transcript. So why is Collins County hiding the second wound since Karmelo Anthony was sitting down the whole entire time? I think that's the wound that Karmelo Anthony possibly could have did. But if Karmelo Anthony hit him in the abdominal womb and caused that injury, still, who hit Austin in the chest? Who are they trying to protect under the tent? That's all I'm going to say. That's all I want to say. Oh, I want to show y'all this. Do y'all see this picture here? Do y'all see this picture under my picture? Let me see if I can bring it up. I want to bring this up. It was one Vesta. I don't know if she's in here or not, but it was one Vesta. I want to find that. I'm going to share my screen. So I want to make sure you're looking in the right direction. Then I'm going to let y'all go, Vestas. I'm going to let y'all go. All right. Do you see this part of the chest here? And you know, the medical examiner, when she got up there and we read her partial transcript, right? And she was talking about the force of an injury that would cause. Now, she never mentioned Karmelo Anthony's name, and y'all already know it seemed like they was talking about a lot of hypotheticals. But remember, they was talking about the force of a blow, the force of a blow. And I said, well, if Karmelo Anthony was sitting down and Austin was like that and he was right hand, how could he hit him in the chest with this angle if his wrist is going back in an unnatural way? And still the womb is like at this angle. So I'm going to say it again. Every time I go loud, I'm going to say this again. If Karmelo Anthony and 2 witnesses for the prosecution we already read their testimonies. Hold on, let me do this right. 2 witnesses have already said that Karmelo Anthony was sitting down the whole entire time. And Austin Metcalf, he turned around, he confronted him, telling him to move. Karmelo Anthony said, I ain't going nowhere. He was invited under the tent. Now that we know the other half of Austin and Hunter Metcalf, we know they got violent. They was bullies. They like to put their hands on people. So let me take off everything so I don't want no restrictions. So I'm going to ask, and both witnesses for the prosecution now has testified that Karmelo Anthony, the whole entire encounter, was sitting down. So that's why I'm sitting down, and I want y'all to focus on this part right here. Okay. Now, if Karmelo Anthony was sitting down, right? And we already know that the prosecution is the one that brought up the impalement theory that Austin Metcalf, when he put his hands on Karmelo Anthony and pushed him back and leaned him back, Austin Metcalf came down on the whoop, just like this, and impaled himself. That's what the prosecution said now as a theory, as a possible scenario, okay? But he wants us to believe that Karmelo Anthony, because once again, they still ain't talking about the abdominal wound. Only the coach talked about the abdominal wound. And the prosecution, Bill Wirskeye, please get this. I need to write down this stuff to get to Mr. Wilson and his crew, because why are they not talking about the abdominal wound, which Karmelo Anthony most likely made in the abdominal area versus the chest area? Now, hold on. I'm getting here. So they want us to believe that Karmelo Anthony was sitting just like this, and Austin Metcalf was standing over him just like this. The first witness testified that Austin, he put both of his hands on Karmelo Anthony's shoulders and pushed him all the way back, where he leaned back just like this. And then the second witness want us to believe, or he testified to, Austin, he jacked Karmelo Anthony up right by here by the lapels and picked him up just like a lineman. Once again. So if my hands is Austin's hands in the second scenario, how can I get my arm up, make my wrist go all the way back like this to hit him in the chest? It's impossible. And why would Karmelo Anthony do that? If Austin got him like this, why wouldn't he just take the knife and just do like this? Even the medical examiner said it didn't go in and out. She said it went left or it went front to back. Okay, we already talked about that. But one witness said he had enough strength where he pushed him all the way back. But I think it was probably like 1-2 motion. Picked him up and pushed him back. And I'm going to say in both of those scenarios, how could Karmelo Anthony get his right hand and his wrist to conform like this to hit Austin in the chest with enough power to break this part in the middle of his rib cage, which is called the sternum? Now, we already know based off the 2D video that the wound, whoever did it, I don't think it was Karmelo, not based off that wrist action. Now, if the wound was up here, right? How did all of this get damaged? Think about it. Sometimes you need a visual. How did all of this get damaged? When Austin is the one that put all of his weight on Karmelo Anthony. Now, my opinion, this is my opinion. Now, we all know that Austin came down those bleachers like a bowling ball. I think when Austin came down with all of his weight, he bust his own chest open, 213 pounds. So I looked it up. I said, I asked ChatGPT. I said, how can a sternum be fractured or cracked? Basically, it said it would have to be a hard impact, such as a car accident or falling hard on your chest. I'm still going to say that Austin did it to himself. When he went back and attacked Karmelo Anthony, once again, it's still nobody out of the 2 testimonies, redacted names that we read, nobody said they still saw Karmelo Anthony with anything in his hands, but they said they know he did it. We done read those testimonies. They say they still know he did it, but they ain't seen nothing in his hands. But once again, I still think Austin Metcalf, when he fell down, he bust open his own chest, 213 pounds. And what if, hypothetically, what if Austin had something in his hands too? And when Karmelo hit him in the abdominal, hypothetically, because somebody did hit him in the abdominal, right? What if Austin Metcalf had something in his own hands, and when he fell down, he hit his own self and broke his chest up? And if you don't know, the knife only went in 2 inches deep, but when he got down to the bottom, if he did it to himself or not, when he got down to the bottom, Austin was still talking, he was still walking, and he lifted up his shirt and said, oh my gosh. It was the coach that had to say, I gotta get him down so I can put pressure on the abdominal wound. So you mean to tell me, and I'm gonna bring this up every time, Austin got his shirt up. He said, oh my gosh, I've been hit. And the coach still didn't see this up here, but he sees the abdominal wound. Man, we got some more to talk about. We still gonna talk about this because, hey, now we got time today. Look, we may have 6 months or 9 months or even 1 year. This man by the name of Russell Wilson, he got something up his sleeves and he already working on the packet. So we got time to read volume 4, volume 5, volume 6, volume 8, and volume 9, because trust me, if you read line by line, it's some information in those transcripts that John Roach did not want nobody to get. And we have read 1, 2, 3. Every time we read something, y'all, new information comes to light. Even when the prosecution, when Mike Howard or Mr. Shook brought up the full body camera, not the spliced and edited video footage, when Mike Howard wanted to actually talk about the full body camera, that the arresting officer microphone was turned down real low. He testified to that in court. The arresting officer said he knew the Metcalf twins. And when it got to talk about the audio, some of the things that Karmelo Anthony was saying on his body cam, the microphone was turned down real low, where even the arresting officer could not even make out what Karmelo Anthony was saying. So I'm going to say to Officer Cortez, why was your microphone turned down very low that day? And it was the prosecution when Mike Howard started to even ask about, Mike Howard probably got about maybe 2 or 3 questions about the full body cam. It was the prosecution that said that the full body cam, hold your vest. The prosecutor, Bill Wirskeye, said the full body cam should be considered inadmissible hearsay. You heard me. The prosecution said the full body cam should be considered inadmissible hearsay. How can an officer in Collins County body cam be considered hearsay? Does that make sense, y'all? Does that make sense? The prosecution said, once again, the arresting officer, full body cam, not that little spliced up edited video we saw for the body cam, the full video, he said, that is an inadmissible hearsay. You want proof? Hold on. Give me 1 second. I'll pull it up. Hold on. And then I'll let y'all go, Vestas. I did my homework for the night. Damn, what? And they want us to stop talking about it. Who? Not me. Who? They said the full body cam was considered hearsay. Hold on. Hold on. Was that 5? Hold on. Was that 6? Let's go to 5. Hearsay. The full body cam is hearsay. Okay, that's not in 5. Let's go back to 6. Let's go back to 6. Hearsay. Inadmissible. Okay, hearsay. Okay, it's not in 6. And also, did you know Dwayne had said that the Metcalf twins, the daddy, Jeff Metcalf, when it was brought up in court that one of the twins, they were selling drugs, and the daddy knew that. Dwayne said, why nobody's not talking about that the twins sold drugs? What? I said, Dwayne, what? The Metcalf twins, allegedly they took them, but they definitely sold them because it came out in court. And I agree with Dwayne. Why nobody not saying that? Because if Karmelo Anthony was selling drugs, we would have known that when. We would have known that when the first day. Hearsay. Hold on, I want to get this for you. Hold on. Let me share my window. We found them in volume 5. Here we go. Y'all see this right here? I told you me and the vessels were doing the work. They was talking about the body cam. So when you arrived, did the person have his arm around Melo, like embracing him, or his arms on his shoulder? Officer Cortez says, I don't recall. So I don't know if this Mike Howard of Toby Shook. He said, you don't recall one way or the other? He said, I don't recall. Okay, fair. Then he said, when it is fair to say that throughout your interactions with Melo, was he emotional? Is that fair? He gonna say at times. All right, here we go. You documented in your report that I think you used the word he was emotional. Here you go. Correct? He says correct. But at the time when he made the comment, he put his hands on me. I told him not to. Is when I stated in my report that he was emotional. Okay. So the question was like, sure. But that's not the only time he was emotional, fair. The arresting officer said fair. So question. I mean, when you get him in the car where we haven't seen that on the body cam, but there is significant amount of time where he was sobbing. Mr. Wirskeye, Judge, I'm going to object to this. If he is referring to an item that is not evidence, it is admissible hearsay. The court says it is in evidence. So that means Mr. Wilson, his new legal team has, if Roach has said it's in evidence, that means that Karmelo Anthony new team has the full body cam. Okay. It is for record purposes. If he wants to offer it for all purposes, he can do that. Mr. Wilkie says, well, then I object to hearsay. It is the defendant's own statements on the body cam that the prosecution has called hearsay, y'all. Do y'all see this? So my question is, what is in the full body camera that the prosecution did not want Mike Howard or Toby Shook to even address? Mr. Wilkie said, well, then I object to the hearsay. It is the defendant's own statement. What? Then Mike Howard said, so it's Mike Howard. Mike Howard said, I'm not actually asking about a statement. I'm asking about him crying and sobbing. The court says overruled. Question. So whether we're talking about a video or not, he is emotional and crying, sobbing. However you want to call it when he is in the squad car, correct? In my report, it is emotional at the point that he made that comment as we're escorting him to the squad car. And then on and on, and then on and on. But did y'all see that? Mr. Wilkie, he had already blocked, we know now, Karmelo Anthony from testifying or influencing him not to testify through Mike Howard because of the gentleman's agreement. But he didn't even want the court to even hear testimony on the full body cam. He even said that it was hearsay. It is defendant's own statements. How in the world Karmelo Anthony's own statements in the body cam is hearsay? Do y'all know why I say I'm going to continue to read these transcripts? Because there's something here. But hey, volume 5, page 49 is hearsay. It's hearsay. Mike Howard, I think Mike Howard, but we already know if he was a lawyer, he definitely would have went more into that. But hey, they didn't even want bringing up the full body cam. Where was it? Where was it? Where was it? Put the body cam. The full body cam. A snippet. He said, okay, so going back and forth to what we just saw in your snippet of your body cam is significant longer. Is that fair? He says, yeah. Then they started talking about the body cam. But when he really wanted to get into details about the body cam, Mr. Wilkie said, it is an admissible hearsay. The court said it is in evidence. It is for record purposes. If he wants to offer it for all purposes, he can do that. Mr. Wilkie said, well, then I object to hearsay. It is the defendant's own statements, y'all. I rest my case for the night. Listen, see, one thing about here, when the trolls come in here, they can argue about, okay, I'll get him out of here. Hold on. I got him. Thank you so much for anytime that happened in the future. Y'all just keep flashing their names. See, it's one thing when they come over here and they try to get us off of our posts when we're making statements, right? But it's one thing they can't argue about is the actual partial transcripts that I got access to. They can't say nothing about this. Nothing. You can't say this is Mr. Wilkie's own statements in court. And if this is a lie, Jane Duggar typed it up. Jane Duggar did it. So that's why I'm sticking with what Jeff Metcalf said. Stick with the facts. These are the facts. These are the first trial transcripts. Oh, y'all, we done found some nuggets in these. I got him out of here. Foundation drifting, both parents. I got him out of here. That's why I stopped talking. They know it. It's okay. I got him out of here. I got him out of here. That's why. So tomorrow, I'm going to say this. Let's say here. About 1 o'clock, I'm just going to have a random live stream on, right? And if you want to be a mod, come into that if I recognize your name. And I know what type of interactions we've been having. Just come into the mod and say, hey, Tony, and I'm going to give you a wrench. And Bunny, you need to come back. And if you can't come to the 1 o'clock one, I'll probably do it again tomorrow afternoon at some time. Or if not, I'll do it again Wednesday once I get off work. But I do need some more mods in here. So if you would like to be a mod and I know your name and I know your comments and I know our interactions, you would definitely get a wrench tomorrow. Because you see, now according to them, this thing is over, right? They said it's over. You need to let it go. So why are they still over here messing with us? Why are they still over here messing with us? But y'all know why. The prosecution said Karmelo's own statements are hearsay. Well, I object to hearsay. It is the defendant's own statements. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. They don't like the truth. Free Karmelo Anthony. Come on. And why did Jeff read out of Dominique? That's what I'm saying. What's wrong with these people? What's wrong with these people? If it's over, why even mess with us anymore, right? Why Jeff got to send something to Dominique Alexander? I guarantee you Hunter will eliminate. All right, y'all. I'm going to be here about 10 more minutes just to go through some of these comments. Right. Thank you, Tony. They're trying to distract us, but it ain't happening. Free Karmelo Anthony, free Karmelo Anthony, free Karmelo Anthony. What time do you go live? Because I work during the day. No, tomorrow would just be a small live just to get y'all names and give certain people wrenches. That's all. They know God ain't playing about us. Free Karmelo Anthony, free Karmelo Anthony. Yep. They're trying to distract us, but it ain't happening. Come on with it. So it'll be several times throughout this weekend, most definitely this weekend. But I'll let you know. But tomorrow I'm gonna try to do it around 1 o'clock because I definitely need some more mods up in here. Austin broke Metcalf on, both parents were scared. And y'all, did y'all hear about the testimony that Austin or Hunter, they strangled their own mother. They put their own hands on their mother's throat. Huh. Whew. That's the biggest railway wound in the world. When they say stick with the facts, is what I call the facts. Come on with it. Look, them transcripts don't lie. And listen, I got to go through here and I need to find the medics. Hold on. That's what I want to see. Hold on. This is why I went back to this picture here. Where is it? Right here. What did somebody say? Now, if Austin Metcalf did not break his own sternum during the fall because he failed and he's over 200 plus pounds, you're going to hurt yourself in dead weight. Not literally, but I'm just saying, when you falling like that, you're going to fall and you're going to hurt yourself. And one Vesta had said in the comments, that's why I did this right here. In order to break this right here, and you can look it up in Chat GBT. How can you break your sternum? It said, somebody posted me. Okay, hold on. We got another troll in here. Hold on. That's true. Let's see here. Somebody had said, if I can't find it right now, I'll make a screenshot and I'll bring it up tomorrow. But basically, they was telling me the way that this can get broken here is with CPR or hard fall, according to ChatGPT. But not no 2 inches, not 2 inches of a blade. Whoever did it, you're not breaking a sternum down here when Austin wound was up in here somewhere in flesh. Y'all, we got something to talk about. We have something to talk about, okay? We have something to talk about. We got something to talk about. And we're going to look at all the scenarios where your sternum can break, and it did say a hard fall can break a sternum. Thank you so much for the love, Bunny, Brown, and Tito Bella. A hard fall, not no 2-inch. And how can Karmelo Anthony get his wrist like this? Because of the angle of the wound. Get out of here. CPR can break. Yes. Yes. I think in CPR, it is so prone. The risk is high to get this part of the chest. Y'all, what if they was trying to save Austin when he went into shock, right? And they broke his chest. That happens everything. But y'all see how they put this on Karmelo Anthony, talking about he hit Austin so hard he broke his sternum. Get out of here. Surgeries, come on with it. Surgeries have to use to, y'all, what if they put everything on Karmelo Anthony and he ain't do nothing except for protect himself? Now that stomach wound, I could probably see that. But still, he didn't have no blood on his clothes. Karmelo Anthony still didn't have no blood on his clothes, especially on the bleachers. Right, especially on the bleachers. The twins made a video of them abusing. Yes, they did, and a lot of other abuses. So why the Coons is not talking about all the video footage? Do they even know that? I don't know who their sources are. They don't even have. Come on, Pittsburgh. I like that. Come on, Pittsburgh. You could crack somebody's sternum doing CPR. Now, whoever hit Austin in the chest, it only went in 2 inches. You mean to tell me if I put something 2 inches inside of me, it's going to break my breastbone? The wound on Austin was right here, y'all. It wasn't even over the heart. It was like in here. It has nothing to do with the man. Come on, man. They playing with us. They think we crazy. He fell, right? And it was a while when he fell, and Karmelo had been going under. Right. He fell after Karmelo Anthony was already under the tent in the second fight. We ain't gonna forget about the second fight, y'all. We are not gonna. And guess what? As I stated, and has been confirmed by 2 people, by Dwayne and Thelma Anderson, that the defense has the original video that Judge Chitty, he did say, bring me everything over here so it can be preserved. Oh my gosh. Dwayne even says it's about to be firecrackers. Oh, it may get some time to get to the appeal, but I'm pretty sure Mr. Wilson, this is what I was getting at earlier, then I'll let you go. Now, they say he's good. Oh, they say he's very good. But to me, I'm pretty sure Mr. Wilson is like, I know they didn't deny me. Mr. Wilson said, oh, they denied me? Oh, I'm pretty sure this one got a little personal. For an elite lawyer that Ken Paxton had to pick up the phone and call down to Collin County and say, you better give him everything because he will put you in prison. And that's why Dwayne said we started getting trickles of this, trickles of that, trickles of that. Listen, Mr. Wilson, Mr. Wilson, you can't tell me a little fire, in a little fire under him, just a little bit of fire. Oh, he said, nah. Okay, bet. All he said was bet. So Vestas, I'm gonna leave y'all. Vestas, what? I don't understand. I'm about to read y'all before I throw him up here now. I don't understand why Shook was the attorney for both of them, G murderer. And she, come on, gentleman's agreement because of that video. And the prosecution, I actually got the video on May the 8th of this year, but it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. Come on. Those compressions. And right, somebody was full of blood. You're right. Hey, how you doing, Lady? That's why it should be a mistrial. Well, when it gets up to the appeal, they actually can dismiss it. And when it gets to the packet, whenever they get to his packet up at the Texas 5th Court of Appeals, they can, what? All they got to do is see the video. And when he got jumped, dismissed, we don't have to worry about going a new trial. They can dismiss it. And once they dismiss it, oh my gosh, that's when you're going to get breaking news. Karmelo Anthony and his family sues the state of Texas. Oh, for wrongful conviction. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more. We're going to talk about that. I had the same theory that they put everything on Karmelo because he was the outsider. Come on with it, Divine. Where did these people come from? They need to be. I tried to get them out of here. But like I said, tomorrow, just look for the subject of need new mods, add new mods. That'll be the link. You come in. All I need you to say is say, hey, Tony. And then I'm like, gotcha. I only need about 10 minutes. Gotcha. You don't even have to stay in there the whole time. Just say, hey, Tony. Gotcha. Especially if I know you now. If you're new here, don't become offended. I just don't know you like I know some of the other ones. But if you want to be a mod and I know your name, just gotcha. I gotcha. When I learned CPR, if you push hard, do it. Yes. And they want us to make us think that Karmelo Anthony at 130 broke the sternum of somebody that was 213 pounds. Get out of here. When you're doing CPR, he wasn't. I did hear that too. If you're doing it wrong, you actually can break that right there because you're supposed to. Yeah, I heard that too. That was one of my theories as well. Okay. Yep. Both a gene. Oh, I didn't know he was over. I didn't know he was part of that case too. Let's see, where was I? Love you, girl. My dude named Tony. So I got you, Brownie. Thank you for the love. The coach. Now, I'm gonna say the coach was a veteran in the military, and we are taught how to properly give a CPR. Now, I also have heard you can properly give a CPR and still break a sternum. But hey, you're right. If somebody else was assisting him, and who knows who? But it could have been the fall too. It probably when they was doing CPR, his sternum already could have been broken in the fall because he fell hard. Let's talk about the facts. I really want my other kids under the tent. Well, if he has two wounds, I'm gonna put the bottom wound on Karmelo because his dad did say on the Breakfast Club that Karmelo Anthony did stick him. Karmelo Anthony's father said he did stick him to get him off of him, but not in the chest. Listen, when Karmelo Anthony, if it comes to a new trial, we're gonna hear Karmelo Anthony get up. Matter of fact, now when we see that crystal clear video, we'll know who did what and what. They know those videos are out because it doesn't matter to them. Their excuse to cry. They're gonna be okay. But that lit. You see this man right here? This is our modern day Johnny Cochran. You see this man right here? Trust me, this has lit a fire under him. Y'all remember when Michael Jordan or Tiger Woods or LeBron James or Kobe, when they have lost some of their biggest, let's say, playoff games or whatever, it always lights a fire under them. You can't tell me Russell Wilson does not have a little bit of fire in his spirit right now. And Fleet, he was already gone. Well, actually, Divine, in the testimony, when he fell down, he was walking and talking, and he lifted up his own shirt and he said, "Hey, I've been S-word." Nah, Austin didn't pass away. They said Austin was walking and talking, which I'm thinking it could have been CPR because even though when he fell, he got up, he lifted his shirt. Everybody has testified to this. Even the coach said when he went over to Austin, he was walking and talking, and he had to make him lay down so he can put compressions on the abdominal wound, not the chest wound. I'm trying to tell you all day. Come on with it. Jealousy is a hell of a drug. They were jealous of Karmelo, so hateful. Karmelo might have thought he did it right. Could have thought he did it. I feel like they're trying to make an example of a message to the blacks. And guess what? We're going to push back on that message. I ain't accepting no message. You can break your sternum doing a Heimlich maneuver, right? If it's done wrong, right? And that's from standing up and behind. You're right. I ain't think about that, Cindy. Well, I thought it was too, but he was disappointed. Disappointed. What case he inserted himself in? He broke. He did. He did. And choked his mother out. God dang. The kids probably did. So actually, it wasn't the kids. It was Coach Redmond and Coach Thayer. Those were the two. Coach Redmond and Coach Thayer. Now, Redmond was a military veteran. And Thayer, I didn't read that he had any type of military ties, but I haven't read all 700 pages yet. Now we talking about Mr. Wilson for don't do that. Don't do that. You caught that though. I'll say if Ashton had rugs in his system when he went to the hospital, right? Exactly. Even in the ambulance. Exactly. Y'all, it's so much to uncover. That's why they ain't give the toxicology report? Why they ain't bring that to court? Medical examiner Dr. Elizabeth Ventura. Come on with it. Ray Charles can see you lied. Come on with it, Leo King. They were terrible defense lawyers. Yep. Good night. Call Mr. Wilson like I didn't mean to. All right, Bunny. See you at 1:00 tomorrow. Yes. Just a 10-minute live. So if you want to be a mod, just come in and hey Tony. I just need to see your name so I can assign the wrench. Beat him across the head, Mr. Y'all go. I messed up. I can't mess with y'all. Oh my gosh. Y'all bad. Tony, we all need to see the original video. Trust me. When they submit that to the it gotta be a special court of appeals. I gotta do some more homework. I mean, that could have happened to any black boy. Well, that's right. Okay. Karmelo Anthony was in a horrible situation, but God is using to open the eyes of our black parents thinking it's okay now. I got you. Thank you so much, Lady E. Tony, they should stop allowing the jury to choose sentences, especially. Well, Judge Roach is the one that chose that citizen for Karmelo. The jury said in 2 hours and a half, they came back out. They couldn't decide on a sentence. John Roach is the one that sentenced Karmelo. He gave him their 17 years. Well, Mr. Wilson got everything now. He sure do. Plus put money on his. Oh, yeah. I got to bring that back out. So I'm going to bring that up tomorrow. The information to put money on his account. That's right. And use them. I still got it, though. So I'm going to bring that tomorrow, okay? Good night, everybody. Good night. All right, investors. He is not allowed in some countries. Okay. All right, investors. Until next time. Make sure you get your notes, your drink, and your vest, because we stay vested up over here at Tony Talks. Vested up, compelling sports edge, okay? And I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Good night. Yeah, we talked about that. Thank you to ladies for continued support and honesty. We as well as Karmelo and family will stay the course until God set him free. The dream team number 2 are very smart and clever. Facts. Yeah, we talked about that too over here. How you doing, dear self? Yes. I want Jeanette Brantley. I want her to do the enhanced 911 call. Jeanette Brantley. I heard she got a new TikTok. I need to get a TikTok account, and I need her to see if she can go ahead and enhance this 911 call that we heard when they said Austin tried to move him. Oh, I said we got something here. All right, investors. Justice for Karmelo. All right, investors. Woo. Oh, let me do this right here. Turn off the music right here. See y'all tomorrow, investors. Let's see here. Preach. Thank you. Please get this information. We could put money in this account. Okay, I will. I'll bring it back tomorrow night, okay? Because I definitely do have it. I definitely do. All right, investors. Let's see here. The multiple assailant law, that is considered a deadly weapon. So that means that Karmelo Anthony, he meant deadly force with deadly force. If being circled with 4 people, 2 people together was almost 500 pounds, 440. That means he met deadly force with deadly force. If they could have had their way with Karmelo Anthony, we would be singing a different tune. Definition of defense of property. Since Hunter just said that Austin grabbed his property before the fight took place, that means that those boys was aggressive. This young man is sitting up in the bleachers minding his own business. Let me paint the stage since Mike Howard didn't do it for the jury. He's sitting up there invited under the tent. And Tony talks vested up. How you know they coming with aggression? Because we saw how they was walking up them stands. And they went up in the stands. And Hunter just told exactly what happened. He said, we walked up to him and told him to move. Aggression. He still didn't do nothing. They tell him to move. All these multiple people, 150, 220, 220, maybe 150, 150. Ooh, it's hot. It's hot. It's hot under that tent. You don't know what's going on. The original people that saw the video, it said it happened in a matter of seconds. Fast, sufficient evidence. The prosecutor has a burden of proving every element of the defense beyond reasonable doubt. If it cannot do so, the defendant is entitled to an acquittal. The prosecution has the burden of proving every element of offense beyond a reasonable doubt. If you can't do so, it said every element, the defendant is entitled to an acquittal. What did Hunter say? Then Hunter say, we went up to him. Oh, Hunter. Oh, Mike Howard. Oh, Prosecutor Greg Willis. Oh, Judge Roach. Oh, Texas AG Ken Paxton. Multiple assailants. That they don't think that he should have took those measures to protect his life with the weight of a middle schooler. So for everybody that's painting that Karmelo Anthony reached around in his bag and got the weapon, tell Hunter that, because Hunter just said that Austin took his bag. They want us to believe that Karmelo Anthony threw away his future for Austin Metcalf. With this 3.7 GPA, graduating the next month, no disciplinary action, captain of the football, captain of the track, and 21 scholarships. Get out of here. Get out of here.